Hello, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever it is you find yourself doing this. Apologies for the slightly late video. I'm going over world history lesson 1 today. I'm going to go through what we see on Bright Thinker. They did a real good job of already giving us what we need. I'm simply going to give it to you in South That's standards or terms, right? So little information on our landing page. Welcome to world history. We're going to discuss world history here from before zero to through today. A lot of history. If you need me, I do have a live session for us Mondays and Wednesdays from 1 to 1:30. You can also go ahead and book office hours with me as well. Let's go ahead and jump into Unit 1, Lesson 1. For Unit 1, we actually have 5 units this semester. For Unit 1, after you guys do the getting started, please, we have 13 lessons, right? It takes us everywhere from the origins of mankind, what is history, through prehistory, Mesopotamia, Babylon, the pharaohs, ancient Egypt. This is all before the year zero. I'll explain how that works in a bit. Taking us through ancient China and the Zhou dynasty, which will end for us at the end of the month. Unit 1 in our pacing guide is actually due at the end of the month. So if you're doing 2, 3 lessons, 4 lessons a week, you are on good time. Let's jump right in because we are running out of time. So, Unit 1, Introduction to History, begins with, give it a moment, vocabulary. Now, what are we discussing in Unit 1? Well, for those of you that want to see what's going on, we'll be discussing terms, culture, physical environment, responsibilities, more responsibilities, how do people participate, trade of ideas. We're going to investigate. This is what the state tells us to teach you. I'm just going to break it down for you guys in an easier way and hopefully have some of this stuff help you guys out. So when we get to the end of your lesson, you can answer these multiple choice questions, right, with some ease, right? So let's go ahead and get started. Essentially, what is history, right, is really the question, right? 3 terms for this unit. We have anthropology, archaeology, and an artifact. Anthropology is the study of humans, simply said, right? The study of humans and or human remains and artifacts. You're going to ask yourself, what is an artifact? An artifact is an object, right, which we get here, is an object that is made by humans, right? So if someone digs up, man, I hope my hammer comes out good. A hammer, there you go. This is an artifact. If someone digs up a bone, right? It's this study of humans or human remain, right? If somebody digs up an old city, well, then we have archaeology. The people who look up these items would be archaeologists, right? So artifacts are found everywhere, right? Look around your desk as it tells you, what do you see? This highlighter, you can barely see it, is an artifact, right? If I will be kind enough to show you my background, these books that I have are artifacts. I have little toy items because I'm a history teacher. They're artifacts. My son gave me an Apache attack helicopter. I can put this in a box, a plastic bag, if it survives throughout history, right? Right up. My son and I like to battle. They're artifacts. Human remains, tools, items that humans left behind are artifacts. One of my former students, Apache, snow globe by the Hoover Dam. This can be an artifact, right? I've had other students, went to Mexico, bought me pyramids, right? Artifacts. This computer that you're using, right, could also be this artifact, right? So history overall is interpreted and written by individuals. I myself consider myself a historian as I have written items about the past. For my master's degree in history, I wrote a book on, you can't see this because of my blur, I apologize. A book on local Vietnam veterans. Right? I went to their homes, we spoke, yes, we did. They provided me with some maps, some pictures, some images. I wrote about it. I put it in a book. Since I wrote this book, became a historian. It's really neat. It's pretty cool to be writing stuff. right? There's a short video here by George, so I don't want to say his name wrongly, but it pretty much takes you into this history, right? So reading history. When it comes to reading history, we have two types of sources. Excuse me. We have primary sources and a secondary source. An example of a primary source is the reading or writing of a journal that has been saved throughout history. Somebody picked up and starts reading. Oh, this journal's from Amelia, my grandma's name, who was born in 1925, and it tells her story from 1930 to 1960. That'd be a primary source. Typically, it's someone who's at an event or a first-hand account witness, right? So if you want to talk about the World Wars, my grandpa fought in World War II. He was such a noble dude. I'm kidding. Song for my son. But if he came back from the war and provides you with notes of his history, well, this would be a primary source. A secondary source is your teacher, right? I'm telling you stories of the past that I have read in books that I'm giving back to you now. At the same time, I was in high school when 9/11 happened, so I can write about what I saw in the news about the September 11th terrorist attacks in New York City, and I would be a primary source because I saw it happen live, right? Compared to reading about it and telling you of it, right, in this presentation. Anthropology. Anthropology is the study of human fossils. Little notes I'm taking down on the side. Right. Again, an artifact is an object left by man. Remember this artifact and object. And civilizations, peoples are essentially, or anthropologists or archaeologists who ends up looking or discovering artifacts that tell the experiences of people, thus giving us this history story. History because it's sorry, my dog had it out there. Apologies for the mute. That is anthropology. This is archaeologists, a study of artifacts. There's many ways to study history. Historians typically read and write books of the past. Archaeologists and anthropologists dig up the past and write about it. All right. So down to an archaeologist, right? So what does an archaeologist do? They dig. They are out in the field and they dig up the past. Is this study of archaeology, right? They study human culture by examining physical remains of the past. That is an archaeologist. You can go to school just for this. There's still discoveries being made today. There's actually, I saw a story that this kiddo found new dinosaur fossils in Dinosaur State Park over by Dallas, Texas, wandering and found new dinosaur fossils. So that's pretty interesting. Archaeologists, again, will use this excavation. They will excavate to study the remains of the past. Geography, one of these skills that we use in studying history overall, in my own kind words, history is great, but what's even better is knowing where it happened and knowing when it took place, right? And geography is just that. Geography is a study of the Earth's surface. You look at a map and you know where we are. Luckily for me, I also have globe, a gift from one of my students. It's in Spanish, but it's just awesome. All right, so geography, as I will give you blank maps throughout the school year here, is the study of the Earth's surface. We start off slow and basic, from bodies of water to physical features like mountains. And eventually we do get a lot more advanced, per se, with rivers and nations and cities, because we need to know where these items are taking place. Now, depending on where you are on the Earth's surface, will determine right the influence on the people on Earth. If you live by a river, you'll be using these river resources for your life's work. You live by the mountains, you'll be working on the mountains, right? Which is right, the physical environment does dictate human presence. If you live in a desert, you're going to be building out of Adobe because that is what is relatively around you, right? Economics is the study and choice decision of making with limited resources. We today see economics as currency, and there's a whole bunch of money out there, from dollar bills to coins, right? There are hundreds of plenty, from the US dollar, from the euro to the Australian dollar, to the ruble, to the rupee, you name it. Each country basically has their own method of economics. But before coin and dollar bills, it was really resources, right? So I'll trade you this wood for this type of stone, or I'll trade you this fish for this kind of fur, would be the study of economics. And again, we'll be studying all this throughout the school year as we learn through of world history. Political science is essentially the study of a country's government, right? Whether you're in the United States, as most of us are, and we have this democratic style of government, this representative democracy, or you're overseas in China and Russia, and they have this more of a dictatorship style of communist government. There have been many forms of governments throughout history, and you will learn these as we go from country to country, right? These governments and peoples are influenced by philosophy and religion. What is philosophy? What is religion? It's, oh man, ideas and beliefs that help shape the views and perspectives of the physical world. Right? What do you believe in? What is right? What is wrong in your eyes? Right? How does this religion talk about that religion? What do you practice? Do you have faith? Do you not have faith? And there are a bunch of types of religions out there, from Judaism to Christianity to Islam to Buddhism to Shintoism. Each country has their own form of religion, right? Which will then create culture, right? Culture is what is the people? What makes them the way they are? Is it music? Is it dance? Is it food? Is it art? Is it war? Is it this physical body? Is it peace? Is it relaxing? Is it outdoor activities? Culture is comes from a Latin word, cultura. Yes, I do speak Spanish, right? And to culture something is to let it develop. A cultura means to cultivate or to develop. Same thing I just said. One definition of culture is this unit or enrichment of life. And then it's this culture or this cultura, to let something cultivate. Let me keep this spotlight. I think it works great, right? What makes culture? Really STEM, science, engineering, technology, and math. Language is also culture. Food is culture. I love my Mexican food. So delicious. I love Chinese food. It's even better. Can't go wrong with a hamburger or pizza, right? This, what is culture? The way people speak, the way they count, will end up making this civilization. The religion will influence these peoples and will create a city, a town, a nation, right? Ultimately, this is driven and recorded in dates, right? 1492, Columbus sails the ocean blue. One of these dates, 1776, the Declaration of Independence, right? As we study history, you'll learn, hopefully with me, right? Different dates have different meanings. If we're talking about something before zero, let me give you a quick lesson on that real quick. It's different. So we analyze history with the year zero. Anything to the left of this line can be said in two words, BC or BCE. If you're religious, before Christ. If you're non-religious, before the common era, being zero. After this line, heading towards today, right, 2023, we have AD if you're religious, or CE if we're not religious, right? After the death of Christ or the common era. Two ways we read time. So if somebody tells you, oh, in the year, I don't know, 480 BC, we have the Battle of Marathon with the Greeks, story of 300, it was the movie 300, or after the death of Christ, or CE, right, 1776. We don't say CE, it's just after the year zero. One more trick here. We have a century trick. If someone says the 18th century, we need to have this -1. Anytime you hear Century, -1. So if we say the 20th century, we're actually talking about the 1900s. We'll practice this as we go on because I will be using it a lot in class. Let's finish this. We got things to do. It's already been about 10 minutes in this video, give or take, which will bring us to writing in history, right? You read something, we record it, we enjoy it. Now, history today has a lot to do with popular culture, right? What does society like? Pop music, pop culture, pop food. My daughter's really into Stray Kids, right? Pop culture, BTS, pop culture. Society in that way is broken up into these popular culture items. We have this high culture and this pop culture, or not so much rich and poor, but we can break it down like that, right? What is high culture? What is pop culture, right? They're just ways to help us understand the way people live. If you need more on Unit 1, Section 1, I will be live tomorrow from 1 to 1:30. You can also set up office times with me from 2 to 2:30 as it was seen in the landing page. So if you need me, join me tomorrow. I'll be live. Click on the link. It'll take you to my live feed. Click on the office hours. You can set up an appointment time. Literally, just click on it and click on when you want to see me. I'll be more than happy to meet with you for any items that we need to discuss. The same is true with the World History Live. Click on the link. When I get online, I'll let you in. We'll have a little discussion. You need me. Do you need to be online? No, you can turn off your camera and talk, or turn off your camera and chat. Either way, I will be here. I hope you enjoyed today's mini lesson. Be prepared for more. We have a whole bunch more to go through. Have a great one. You will see me again shortly. Adios.